going to call this something? Hi friends, welcome to our little mini-series. It's just become a mini-series. We're going to do more of these.
Sorry.
Called The Rule of Three. We're going to ask each other 3 questions and see what the answers are. I'm going to be honest, we've just thought of this on the spot and I don't have 3 questions yet. But we'll get there. We'll get to that. We'll do that as we go.
Okay.
So, do you want to go first while I think of a question for you?
Does that count as a... No, neither of us know what we're going to be asked first, so this is going to be... See if we can catch her off guard. Okay, first question. What was the first spell you ever did?
Right, the first spell I ever did was from a spell book I got from the library when I was about 9. And it was to try to control the flame on a candle. So it was a case of connecting with, what I didn't know at the time was connecting with fire energies. So all of the elementals connected with fire. Building that relationship and then tuning into the energy of the flame and then trying to make the flame go left, right, you know, taller, whatever. And so it didn't have, it wasn't necessarily a spell for something like money or love or whatever, but it was really to connect with the energies that were around me. And from a very, very young age, the elemental energies have been very prevalent for me. So that kind of connection with fire energy, and we used to have a real fire at home, you know, in the fireplace at home, and I would do the same. I wouldn't bother to watch TV. I'd be staring at the fire, looking at the flames and seeing what energies I could see in that. So I guess that's the first kind of magical spell-like thing I did.
Yeah. It's a really good training one, actually.
Yeah, it is a good one.
Cool.
I have to ask you a question.
Okay.
What, since we're doing firsts, what was the first energy that you experienced that you knew was a real energy and not just your imagination?
Okay. Are we including the like ghosts, paranormal stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
First one that I remember experiencing, I've got to have been about 5 or so, and we were at my mother's house, and she had some friends over, and there was 2 on this plane, and my mum introduced them, like, oh, this is so and so, and this is so and so, and I vividly remember going, "Who's the third person? Who's the lady in the green dress with the red hair?" Who was standing up next to them, and yeah, luckily the friends were of a similar sort of style to my mum, so very, very open about magic and the occult. And they said, "Oh, don't worry about her. She's someone that follows me around." So I still have this vivid memory of being very young and experiencing the paranormal, which was very, very cool. Certainly later on we actually did energy clearing at my mum's house, and other memories I had from when I was very, very young, which was really weird to experience. They were ghosts as well, dealing with those energies. And I was like,
thought they were actual memories?
I thought they were actual memories,
so many of those.
and I thought they were actual people.
that I,
and I'm just going,
yeah.
What? Really, really weird.
Yeah.
But that was cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question 2.
Question 2 for you. What is your scariest experience?
I knew you were going to ask me that. It must be psychic.
With similar word, similar letters, but different meaning. What's your scariest experience with the magic and the occult?
This is a really good question. because things are scary for different reasons, right? So
Yeah.
so things that have been scary for me are things that I've had to learn through life. Some of that's been really scary. Magic and the occult. See, scary when we talk about paranormal, scary to me equals fun, because I know I'm protected, and I know that. But prior to sort of the age when I knew I could protect myself, things were a lot scarier back then. So as a child, things were a lot scarier. Scariest. Oh God, you've got me.
Wait until question 3.
Scariest thing. Probably a moment when something quite extreme happened when I was working at one of the locations on a paranormal investigation ghost hunt. I was at a location called Alton Towers, which is one of my favourite locations because has really strong energy in it. It's really hard for me because scary equals great.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a thrill.
Yeah. So we had sort of 30 odd people, I think a bit more than that, stood in a room, all holding hands in a circle. I was in the middle with another colleague in the middle of the circle with me, and at the time the energy was getting really intense in that moment, and the whole room went dark. No, it's clouded over, guys, don't panic. So what was happening was everybody was kind of on edge because things were being thrown and stuff was going on, and people were experiencing things, seeing dark shadows, whatever, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
But it felt very, very intense in that moment, and I had a lady who was a guest with me who was just crying and struggling, and I was saying to her, do you want to stay in the room, do you want me to take you out of the room, what do you want to do? And she was like, no, I'm okay, I'll stay with you. So I was kind of looking after her, but it was I was aware of a very dark energy there that was targeting the guests, and you're in a point of responsibility in that moment to look after everybody who's there and yourself. So it's quite challenging, and it was very heavy, intense energy. And as the energy moved across the room, people at the opposite side of the room were reacting to something, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but they were gasping. So there was an audible gasp from the other side of the room, gradually moving its way up the room towards me. So people were just going, and I was hearing like this reaction coming up the room, and it got to me, and it was literally like an ice sheet moved across my face. Now, it was a cold night anyway, so I had my coat and my scarf and gloves and everything else on, so my face was, the only sort of thing that was in the air. But it was a cold sheet of ice, and it felt like I had dipped my face into ice water, and I can feel it move across my skin. And it was that strong and that intense. And even I kind of went, oh, that's cold, that's freezing. And it kind of gradually moved across the room. But once it had covered the whole room, everything just started kicking off. It was very, very dark, visually very dark. Things were getting thrown, and my colleague unfortunately kind of called it and said, we have to leave, we have to get everybody out. And I was kind of it's a real shame, because it's so it's not really frightening though. It's really hard. I mean, there are energies that are huge. There are energies that are far larger and far more powerful and stronger than I am, and experiencing those for the first time or meeting those for the first time can be pretty terrifying. And when you see this thing and just go, that's massive, and how can that possibly exist? But there it is in front of me, and it's looking at me, or it's coming for me, or whatever. It can be quite frightening in those situations. But once you've established a connection with with the spirit world, once you've established that relationship, then they see it around you, they see it in your energy, and it's just a case of they might be cautious, they might be
curious
or kind of looking at you, checking, just like, what are your intentions, kind of thing. But then they see in your energy that you have that connection, and they kind of relax a little bit. And so moments like that within a ritual or within a situation can be a little bit hairy, but I don't know. Things scared me a lot as a child before I knew what they were.
Yeah.
So before I had the education, before I knew what I was dealing with, things were frightening. And I think the scariest stuff has been personal attacks, particularly as a child, by the spirits that were in my house at the time. So they were probably the scariest things.
Cool.
I have to ask you a question.
You
Question
do.
number 2. What's the best thing about your magical practice for you on a day-to-day level? What's the most useful thing, or the best thing that you know how to do, or the most frequently used thing that you do that's magical?
Beyond the stuff that comes with just generally working with energy and training and comes with practice, which is, you know, being able to see spirit and interact with that. One of the nice things can be where, you know, muggle problems don't bother you. But one of my nicest things, or the things that I really enjoy, is, you know, being able to have a closer connection to the natural world. As I've said in other videos, I work very closely with plants, and being able to walk along and be able to identify what they are for magical purposes, or having a connection with your guide and having that there and being able to take a step back, like for a split second, and having a much wider view. I think that's my favourite thing, is having that connection to that energy that's there and your gatekeeper, and building that relationship as you go through your training and your practice, and that it becomes like a friend that never leaves.
Yeah, so you know you're never alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, it's my turn. Question 3. Okay. Right.
Power of the bee.
Okay, this one is probably going to be the deepest one, and might take a bit of explaining. But given that we have multiple lives and we reincarnate many, many times, and in each life that we have a name, our soul would have a name. Do you believe in that case that your soul has an identity, a name in itself, separate from your consciousness now?
Absolutely. It's the higher self.
Yeah.
So the higher self is something that is continuous through all of your lifetimes. So we have, you can liken it to the conscious mind is what's going on right now. It's your shopping list. It's, whatever it is that you're thinking about in the moment. That's your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is a little bit higher up. It's not the immediate thoughts. It's not the everyday thoughts. It's the stuff that's in your past, the stuff that's in your past lives even. All of that memory contained. And then you have the superconscious mind, which is another level up. So that's the mind that takes the bits that are important, the bits that are relevant, the bits that are useful. So the subconscious mind is like a rubbish bin. And then the superconscious mind is all the thoughts that are going to be useful, the experiences that you've had over the lifetimes that are going to be helpful for your development over those lifetimes. So in the same kind of way, we have a physical body that is just for one lifetime. So that's just the here and now, that's just the one lifetime thing. But then you have an energy and experience that will, rather like the subconscious mind, be an accumulation of all the experiences that you've had in all of your lifetimes. That's like your next energy level up. And then after that, you've got the superconscious, but that's like your spirit. So that goes with you through every lifetime, whereas the body is discarded. The lower version of you is discarded. That's like your personality from a past life. So we bring things with us into each lifetime that we need to keep and learn and keep using. However, there's a higher version of us that has an overview of all of that. So that certainly has a name, and it can be termed your soul name, and that has great power. I mean, we often talk about the power in words and the power in sound, And so your soul name is so powerful that I strongly believe you shouldn't tell other people what your soul name is. And there are ways to find out your soul name. So you can do a particular meditation, a particular journey into your own, higher conscious to be able to find out that information. And it's not something that you would just tell anyone, because that name has power, and it has power across lifetimes. So if somebody was to curse that name, that curse could, in theory, last lifetimes, not just this lifetime. So there's a powerful aspect to that. I certainly believe that it's true, and it's not something that you should just openly share with anybody.
Definitely
because
not.
they can use that as a point of power to gain control over you or to hurt you in some way. And you never know what's going to happen in the future, so you need to be careful.
I mean, certainly, me and you, we don't share that information with each other.
No.
So.
And we've been together 6 years.
Yeah. So.
It's not a case of. It's one of those topics that is far more wider ranging than just this lifetime, or just the last 6 years, or however many other decades we have together, which hopefully we do. But it is just, it's a case of understanding that this is going to go over lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. If I tell you my soul name now in this life, in a future life, you might hate me, and you might be able to regress back to this life and find my soul name.
Yeah.
There's a whole complex ideology here, and a whole complex system.
It's like falling into a time travel paradox. It's the sort of thing that you really.
Yeah, it is a bit.
It's best just to keep it quiet.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm not offended by the fact that I don't know your soul name.
No, I mean, I'm not
That
offended
would
by
be
that.
egotistical of me, and that's not what we're about. We're about helping each other develop and grow, and that's not just this lifetime.
Definitely. Last one, your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. What is, because we've been doing like the most, so what is the most magical place or most energetic place that you've ever been in?
That's a really good question.
I know, right?
Because I've been to so many places, certainly through my younger life, where I got taken around by my mothers to various different sacred sites. So I got to experience some fantastically powerful energies at a young age. Places in Cornwall seem to speak to me very, very strongly. Oh, it's really difficult because there's a few there as well. Okay, I'm going to name 3 because that's the because we're doing rule of 3. So, not in Cornwall. Puzzlewood is really, really nice, and if you get a chance to go there when there's not many people, it's like walking around somewhere out of a fantasy film.
Oh, it's amazing! Yeah, great location.
Holywell Bay in Cornwall, which I absolutely adore, just for various reasons. So some really good fond family memories there, as well as it's got a holy well that's in a sea cave. There's also one hidden up in amongst the sand dunes that comes out from an old chapel and winds its way down a river which joins up with the sea, and there's
Very magical.
island, very, very beautiful, very magical. My favourite beach. And one from when I was quite young, I remember being almost physically bowled over when I saw the Long Man of Wilmington, which is really weird. I came round the corner, I remember coming through this gate after parking, and seeing it, and I had to take quite a few steps backwards because of the energy there, which was really strange.
That's interesting.
I must have been 11 or even younger. But
We need to go. And
it'd be good to go again. I mean, there are other places which have got really, really cool energies, but those are 3 ones that I've got. Yeah,
that stand out.
that I've got some quite cool ones there. If I had to pick 3.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you very much for watching our first instalment of the Rule of 3.
Yes.
if you have any questions that you'd like to ask us, this would be a good little time to do it. Put it in the comments below, or get us on social media and ask us questions, and we'll ask those questions to each other.
Yes, that would be good. That saves us the work of thinking of questions on the spot.
Yeah, throw us some questions.
Help! No,
But thank you very much for
Thank you.
watching, guys. We really appreciate it.
thank you very much. Goodbye.